Should we go to north of the border to Jordan Peterson in Canada?
We should, because a professional standards board in Canada wants to punish. Let me take that again.
Okay.
A professional standards board in Canada wants to punish psychologist Jordan Peterson for what is basically wrong think. That means that Peterson is saying the things you're not supposed to say on the internet, and they want to train him to be a good boy and use his massive social media platform for right think. You know, things like COVIDism or transhumanism, pro-warism.
Like anti-truck convoyism.
That.
All anti-white supremacy. All the stuff that Justin Trudeau loves to talk about, right?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. But if you're familiar with Jordan Peterson at all, you know he does not want to be a good boy. He's popular for saying things you are not supposed to say. So he is pushing back with litigation.
Hold on a second. Can I correct you on that? Because he says in multiple interviews, time and time again, I do not want to be a rabble-rouser. That is not my goal. He said, I'm a person who studies and reads constantly and researches. This is Jordan's words, not mine. He says them much more elegantly than I can. And I don't mean to be a flamethrower. I'm just presenting you with facts. And if that bothers you, I'm presenting research and facts. And if that bothers you, then you're somehow labeled a bad boy.
Right. Okay. I'm oversimplifying with the good boy, bad boy. He has said, for instance, in the incidents we're going to talk about later when he was punished on Twitter, he's saying he would rather die than take down something and admit that that thing was hateful and inappropriate.
Okay.
He's not going to toe the line for sort of woke values and virtues.
Right.
He's not interested in that. He's only interested in where his research takes him and what he feels like he has to say. Does he always say it in the most sensitive way? I don't know. You'd be the judge of that. But we are here. We are free speech purists, and we are speaking out for all free speech. And so he has not said anything illegal. Whether or not it's a violation of a standards board, even the standards board themselves has not said that anything he said is a violation. So we're going to show you. The College of Psychologists of Ontario launched a review of Peterson based on complaints, and they concluded that he must be required to take social media training or else risk losing his license. You can see this for yourself on their website. It says that the decision released based on these inquiries and complaints decided to require Dr. Peterson to successfully complete a prescribed specific continued education or remedial program. The substance of this, we're going to call it SCRP, is a coaching program to address issues regarding professionalism in public statements. And as it stands, Dr. Peterson has filed a notice of application for judicial review of the Ontario Divisional Court. Now,
a SCRP sounds like something like, it's not quite a burp, but it's like where you choke down, like water, and you don't quite burp, but you kind of slurp down.
That's like what they want him to do.
Right.
Is like
SCRP.
It's almost an onomatopoeia.
I mean, just think about the balls on this. Just the idea that they would send him to some sort of a training program because they don't like how he speaks publicly.
Right. It reminds me of a hard reset of a hard drive, basically.
Right.
And so, they invited us with this link to click on what a SCRP is. So I took that opportunity. Here is how they define what they want him to do. It's an outcome available after these conflicts, right? And it says that after this is completed, it's noted in your public register. But at the bottom of interest, it says it's not a finding of professional misconduct or incompetence. A SCRP does not affect a member's ability to practice or their registration status. Once it's completed, the matter is considered closed. So they're not saying he's done anything wrong at all. They're just saying they want to reprogram him remedially, like it says.
Clockwork Orange?
Yeah,
right.
Keep your eyes open. We're going to have you sit there with the toothpicks in your eyes and watch the films so you'll be trained, retrained again over and over again, into Trudeau's government's program.
Right, for saying uncomfortable things. His daughter, Michaela, explained more about what this training entails, and it is egregiously vague and also financially burdensome. Listen.
It's such a scam, too. They're requiring him to do media retraining that he pays $225 an hour for an unspecified amount of time. And then at the end of that training, they decide whether or not he's learned anything and whether he can continue being a psychologist. This isn't even a process that goes to court. It's just this regulatory board of like 12 tyrannical individuals. It's crazy that what you say online can be used to get rid of your license if people don't like you politically, which doesn't sound very democratic to me.
So could he just do it and surmise what they want from him and answer the questions? Probably.
I mean, it would almost make me for some excellent content on his behalf. Like, this is the stuff that he thrives on. So, like, that he could go through this and talk about how ridiculous it was, right?
Yes, but I think what she is saying there is that it's an open-ended goal. So this SCRP is not just like traffic school where you go and you're done.
You pass your test.
It seems to be that they're going to test him and say, now, do we misgender people on Twitter? Right? And
right.
You have to answer. Now, do we call Justin Trudeau a dick?
Yes, we do.
No.
No.
Damn it. See, that's wrong.
Fail it. When you see Izzo
Clayton,
dancing
you got
around.
a D-.
Damn it. I keep trying. When we see Izzo dancing around with a flute half naked, do we celebrate the fact that she's, morbidly obese? Yes, we celebrate that. I got that right?
Who?
Isn't
Lizzo?
Yes.
No,
Lizzo.
That's
Izzo?
not okay. No, and his issue with weight came from a different. Okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
But that's the stuff that he gets yelled about. Yeah.
So let's just sort of quickly go down the list of things that they don't like him for. And why he's on the naughty list in the first place. He criticized Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for COVID lockdowns and travel bans. Here's that tweet. He said that he will never forgive Justin Trudeau, or forget rather, that his father didn't make it to California for his daughter's wedding because of the travel ban.
Yeah.
He spoke out against a plus-size model on the cover of Sports Illustrated because he thinks that obesity should not be celebrated because it harms people's health. Here is that tweet.
And by the way, we're normalizing this now.
Sure. I mean, that's uncomfortable. I find that tweet uncomfortable. I'm not going to condone it. I personally don't like the way it's presented. But again, as a free speech advocate, I have to say that you have the right to feel that way. Yeah, you don't have to say that that's beautiful.
Right. And if Sports Illustrated puts that on the cover and then celebrates it, you have a right to respond. Like, it's a magazine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like this is a woman in her own house, in her backyard, and you're yelling over the fence at her. Like, this is the front cover of Sports Illustrated, a magazine designed to make millions of dollars.
Yes, but your words will have an effect on her, as you know. And so the point is well taken that obesity harms humans. Is that a nice way to say it or a nice way to speak about women? No. But again, it's not illegal. Okay, what else? Well, Peterson was one of the first to speak out about transgenderism in Canada as a social contagion on an episode of Joe Rogan. And even before that, we've spoken extensively about the research about this very thing, about how Dr. Lisa Lippman was the first to publish research around what is called rapid onset gender dysphoria. He was talking about this. In 2016, he spoke out against gender pronouns as compelled speech. We've covered that before. Again, in a free society, you cannot compel anyone to say anything, not even the Pledge of Allegiance. So definitely not preferred pronouns. So why are people being compelled to use pronouns at risk of professional licenses and other privileges, as even parenting? And then again, he dead named actor Elliot Page, formerly Ellen Page, on Twitter. That means that he used the actor's previous name before a gender transition. Should we show this tweet, or maybe we shouldn't? I don't know. What do you think, Philip?
This one I don't know. I can't read it from where I'm at because it's
okay. I'm not going to show it to you in case that the algorithm. And he called the actor the old name that person was born as a biological woman and that female name. And Twitter said that you have been guilty of violating our rules against hateful content. He says Twitter gave him the ultimatum. You either delete the tweet and admit that this is hateful speech, or you don't delete the tweet and you get punished. He refused. Here is his clarification on that when he says that Twitter didn't even give me any real rules or specifications about the violation. Watch.
We unfortunately have to guess at why this has occurred, and that's actually a big problem in and of itself, and also indicative of the utter carelessness of the Twitter organization with regard to the propriety of its own censorial actions. I should at least know exactly what I did wrong if I am required to acknowledge that my tweet violated the Twitter rules. What rules, you sons of bitches? Exactly. Precisely. Because such things matter when the accusations start flying.
Okay. Well,
that's how I'm going to talk from now on.
You already do.
I'm going to do that. I already do talk like that. But
Are you going to do it in a Canadian accent?
I'm going to do it in a Canadian accent, and I'm going to do it in a slow and stilted way with a nice, long, dramatic pause in the middle of it. I'd like to know.
You sons of bitches.
What is it that by the way, it's like William Shatner. Do all Canadians have to talk like that with that dramatic pause in between? Some people in the chat saying like on our Rumble chat, CDSC 1834 says dead named isn't even a thing. Sorry. Like that's another reason. Like now we're even like we're giving names to things that we're supposed to feel sorry for, like dead naming. Like who came up with that?
Oh.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you, but those are the rules on social media and some of the platforms we are currently on.
The rules of the companies of, not like the social norms of.
But Stanford, if you look at some of these colleges, Stanford just did a whole like thing of language that they have to change, like words on the campus. So they have a whole paper that shows you what you can no longer say. And this kid was reading it, and it's completely crazy. And that's the thing, like, it's getting into the college level, and then it's going to come to the mainstream. And we've already had definitions changed for woman in the dictionary. In Webster, right? Webster's, like, was that the one?
I think it was Cambridge.
Cambridge, yeah.
Cambridge. So it's coming.
Okay.
You sons of bitches.
All right. Now, Peterson was reinstated to Twitter last November, but the mainstream media still wants you to hate him. Look at the outrage, I say, when he met with footballer Cristiano Ronaldo, and Ronaldo posted a picture of himself on Instagram. Here's just one headline. He's worryingly praising Jordan Peterson as a fantastic man. Like, Cristiano Ronaldo holds this opinion in his own brain, and we should all be worried that he's formed that opinion. Here's just the Instagram in case you want to see. It's just them standing together with a thumbs up. He can't be thinking for himself, Cristiano Ronaldo. We may have to reboot him too.
Yeah, like clearly he's been hit in the head with a soccer ball too many times. That he's drank too much water, because you know he doesn't like the soda, and he cannot think on his own. We worryingly praising.
He's got cauliflower ear. He's been hit so many times with the soccer ball.
What's that?
It's like from when you're like jujitsu or you're a wrestler. You would get your ears pulled by the opponent, and you get your cauliflower ear and turn in like a big fruity thing.
Gross.
It's nasty.
All right.
It is.
So I think I've painted the picture properly of Peterson as a bit of a firecracker. He says the things that, good woke puppies should not. And he says that in ways that sometimes are inflammatory, but by no means illegal. These are opinions that a society with a diversity of thought should have, in my opinion. Even the Wall Street Journal is arguing that these reprogramming classes are wrong. Here's from the Wall Street Journal opinion page. Professional bodies are supposed to ensure that practitioners are competent, not enforce political orthodoxies or act as language police outside the office, but that's the trend in Western medical associations and beyond. The Law Society of Ontario has pushed a mandatory diversity pledge for all lawyers until a members' revolt took over the board and nixed the pledge in 2019. At the time, an Ontario lawyer objected to the ever-expanding mission to socially engineer the profession. Sounds like an issue of id, ego, and superego. you could ask a psychologist about it, preferably one that has not been reprogrammed. So what will the courts do with this? He seems to be appealing it to a higher body. Will it go to a public trial, or will this college of psychologists say, we're not going to be able to defend this. We just wanted you to do this because we don't like what you're saying, but there's no standards you are violating, so we can't defend it. So we'll either drop it or they'll push for it, in which case we'll see, this reprogramming for wrongthink continue to expand.
Some in the chat are saying, I hope he leaves Canada, get out of there, and maybe go somewhere else. I don't know. Others are saying, I love Jordan Peterson. Others are saying, I'm not a fan because his staunch support of Israel. So there's that. I don't know. I mean, but
I am not trying to present him as someone you should like or not like. I am trying to present these as opinions that should be held in a diverse society of thought.
We should absolutely be able to have this free speech. And of course, we know that Justin Trudeau's government does not want that. Yes. They want censorship of online social media. Social media, of course, has been a main target of the Trudeau administration. So this should not come as a surprise to any of us.
Yeah.
Well, to me, this seems like...
Wait, boys. Okay, Philip first.
Sorry. Yeah. So to me, it seems like with the social media platforms, it's sort of like a parent and a child relationship where the parent is really reactionary and comes up with punishments on the spot that the kid didn't know what the outcome would be. Like they don't know, a young child doesn't know what the repercussions of something are. So I was always big on, like when raising my daughter, that if she didn't know what penalty would be imposed, there would be no penalty. Because you can't just like throw a penalty out there if the actions weren't known. And that's what the social media companies, like, we don't know the rules. We don't know how they're going to react. So like even this segment here, like if YouTube decided we don't like this, then we get in trouble, but we don't know. It's not in their guidelines, because in their guidelines, they put little things like, or other things at our discretion.
Right.
And so like, so it's like everything else is clearly laid out. And then you have, or if we feel like it, basically. And so it's just like, we don't know we don't know in any of these places, we don't know what the penalty will be, and we don't know what the rules are, and yet they're being enforced, and they're trying to enforce it on a societal level when none of us really understand the rules.
It's shadow boxing.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, what also frustrates me is that people are like, you have to agree with somebody 100% of the time or you don't like them. It's like, there's like 50% of what Jordan Peterson says I agree with, and 50% I don't, but I don't throw him out and just like say, oh, nothing he says is relevant. Right. Like there's so many people that have a relevancy, and you just have to look at like what you agree with them and what you don't, but not throw them out. Like trying to get people to listen to Joe Rogan sometimes. They're like, oh, I'm not going to go listen to that interview because Joe Rogan's a, right-wing nutbag. I'm like, I'm not asking you to listen to Joe. I'm asking you to listen to the person that's on there. So it's like people just throw people out based on one thing they don't like about him, and that frustrates me.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, like on this show, we have, 50, 55, 55,000 people watching us live right now, right? Not everyone's going to agree with us. We're going to have a lot of different opinions on,
Right, but doesn't it depress you a little bit that as hard as we work to bring information that's not ours, just information we find and think people should know about, that there's a little bit in it that they have to like us in order to hear. And that's a little disheartening that, but at least they like us enough for now.
I think it's human nature. Like, you want people to like you. Like, I don't do this show hoping that all the 25,000 of you watching on YouTube right now and the 20,000 of you watching us on Rumble right now, or 19,000 on Rumble, like that you're like, I love the show, I love all the context, but I really can't stand you.
Right.
Like, that would bother me. Like, I'd like go to bed tonight, be like, oh, that sucks. Like, you want to please people.
I can see what Natalie's saying, though, and that is, it's like if you don't have the personality to deliver information, people won't hear it, no matter how good the information is. Yeah. And that's right. That is sad.
Yeah. And especially for me, because as I get older, I get increasingly unlikable. So I have to work on that.
This is true. No, that's not true. What are you talking about? You become more pleasant every day.
No, I get better and better at alienating well-intentioned people.
Hey, I just want to point out that this show exploded once you came on. I'm just pointing that out there.
I'm your secret weapon,
That's
honey.
right. That's right. Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at Redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to Redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.